What is up, guys? Wraec is here with a new video, and today I want to do Tower of Dreams with you guys. We are going to do depth 23, so basically halfway to depth 30, the new max. And I thought we just go ahead, we used AtD, because last time we actually did the holo campaign to get the last shards that I needed to max his court, bring his court noble, and then bring him to Divine Power 6 now, which of course isn't the Destiny rank. Destiny rank, we're still at Chaos, so we had to have 3 skills unlocked. His transition skills aren't really the best, to be honest. Like, they are pretty buff-based, support-based, and he's mostly a damage dealer, so yeah, that isn't too great together. He has some damage in there. Consumes 12 layers, so it's a 12-layer transition skill, which does mean it doesn't trigger too often. It is one of those that just triggers once you have 12 transition power, which is quite decent. We deal 1500% attack damage to 4 random enemies 2 times, with a decent chunk of damage, and then we increase the damage reduction of 4 random allies by 15%. It's okay, not too great. It's not something that I would like be hyped when it triggers. And then all the other skills, yeah, some armor block increase. We get a shield here. Shield is decent. And then the debuff removal, which I had high hopes would work if you just put him in the front line so that he can remove 1 debuff from himself. Maybe get rid of the burn from those pesky Valk stages. Didn't really work out. I think it really means allies in the sense of not him. So yeah, that's the thing. Then we have the attack increase for 1 ally with the highest attack, which 12% would be decent, but then again, that's a skill here that requires 12 transition power, doesn't trigger too often. So yeah, we really frontline allies control immunity. I don't even have to say anything about that. Backline energy attack is decent. Is decent. We can do that. So not really much happening in terms of Destiny transition here. I don't think even when you max him, it's not really too much better. It gets a bit more decent, okay. But like, if that is the first D6, there are Destiny rank 6-0 that you can make, is probably not the best choice. He does deal great damage, of course. He's an AtD after all, and I thought like, well, let's just go ahead and use him. Tenant-wise, it's pretty easy for me to set up, because he has Starwing Jar in there, he has SQH in there. SQH is also tenant for LFA, which those 2 are now my tenants for LFA, because AtD, in fact, is the better LFA tenant when compared to PDE, so slot 4 now dominated by AtD. But that was not the topic of this video. Our plan is to hit Tower of Oblivion, do Tower of Oblivion 23, and let's just see what happens. I was planning to just use TBB again, but now I'm not quite sure, because that doesn't have the greatest synergy to AtD, and if we want to see some AtD action, I think for now we just have to start off without our trusty TBB, and later on we can still switch her in if things get a little bit too difficult. For now I think we can use MFF, and then we need Garuda, because that's our last up hero, and we switch the pad away from Phoenix to the line. And core wise, it is an AtD video. Let's just use the AtD core. The AtD core, by the way, one of the few cores with a real animation. You will see it once a hero attacks an enemy. You will see those chariots pursuing and attacking the enemy. It is a pretty cool core. Effect wise, I don't know if you guys know about the effect of the AtD core. Basically, we deal some damage when any ally releases an active or basic skill, and afterwards we increase the holy damage now on Core Liberation 5 by 28% for 2 rounds, which is decent. And then at the end of each round, every stack of revenge on an enemy reduces their all damage dealt by 5.6%, and we can use up to 4 stacks, which is 20% less all damage dealt. Quite nice. So let's go ahead, let's see what this AtD can do. And we could also later on switch MFF 4. Okay. Yeah, it's 23. Okay. We deal a bit much damage, but I think for the last stages we'll see. Okay, Gustin. And the enemies already have Divine Power 4. Can you see that? Like, our MFF just casually nearly one-shotting this stage, And the Gustins reflecting that and nearly killing off our AtD, which has 4 billion HP. That was kind of stupid. This guy did it. You can see it. 10 billion damage here. Oh, absolutely insane. I think we swap out the MFFs now. Because, like, I feel she's taking up a little bit too much space here in terms of just taking the spotlight away from AtD. And we're just going to use PDE. That's going to give us some control immunity. It's going to be absolutely fine as well. And you can see there is the shield, the glorious support on our allies. Up to 2 allies can get it. And those 2 allies, when they get it, they will grant stacks to our LFA. Let's see them right above here. He gains crit chance, he gains precision, gains some DR if I saw that correctly as well. So when you build AtD, really, you want to build around those abilities. You really don't want to go for too much crit. You really don't want to go for too much precision because, as you can see, we already got 5 precision buffs there. And those buffs keep stacking up. And really, you don't really need any crit chance on him to crit. So what you're going for is armor break, what you're going for is skill damage, what you're going for is holy damage. And those are the stats that you really want on him. And well, as it happens, we have quite a great role for him. Our role for AtD, and we have a better Garuda. Why do I use that one? We have a C tier here. Should use that. Our role is armor break, is holy damage, giant killer, and defier. So pretty much even our secondary stats are optimal, which is quite great. Alois is doing quite some damage actually with those counterattacks. It wasn't even too bad. Like even out damage PDE. You can see it is just great when AtD comes around, does the hit, does the big active skill, and just swipes the enemies away. I think we're going to have a bit more fun though with those boss stages later on, because they have a bit more HP and not so easily swiped away like those guys are. But in general, I think it's fun to switch up the damage dealer now that we have the opportunity to do so. Get away from LFA for a single video or two and use AtD a little bit. Because AtD by no means is bad. It's one of the strongest hero that we actually have in the game. And one of the best damage dealers for campaign, because he can sit there, he can even be CC'd for 1 or 2 turns, he will make your other heroes more tanky, he will gain buffs and stacks for his active skill, and when he breaks out of CC or something, then he will unleash a monstrous active skill, sometimes one-shotting enemies, and that can be absolutely insane. And obviously, with the new S-tier perks that we already talked about coming up, we are going to search for a new role for AtD. While ours is decent, I certainly don't want to miss out on Hunter's Focus on AtD, because that can be huge. So we are ideally looking for GK Defier, Hunter's Focus, and now I have to say the meta switched a little bit. It's now a little bit different than when we made our role, and I think it's now better for us to actually go for holy armor instead of any of the basic stats, because it seems like the H is mostly planning to bring every single basic stat eventually as a treasure train stat, and that of course means if we want a long-lasting role or a role that will be relevant for a long, possibly long amount of time, we want those modifiers that are special for A tier, for S tier. So ideally GK Defier, Hunter's Focus, and Holy Armor. Holy Armor will make it way easier to survive against Valkyr stages, because it will make our armor work against burn. And with the big armor that we have on those warriors, we can look at a comfortable like 90% reduction of the burn damage, which is quite insane. And that being said, well, it will be quite difficult to actually get that role. Because those are 4 specific stats, and we roll them out of the giant pool that we will then have at S tier, because, well, adding 2 more perks to it certainly won't make it easier to get the ones that we want. Given that there are all of the perks that you know from C tier. There are the perks that you know from B tier, so that's including CI, Offset, Control, Precision. Then we get the A tier perks, Holy Armor, Divine Block, Giant Killer, Defier. Those are all in the pool. And then we have immunities for every single type of CC, which of course makes the S tier perk pool quite insane, quite big. And that means we'll have a tough time getting the right roll. Also, we are at least rolling 2 heroes here. Starting off with, of course, AtD and Starwing Jara, which will be quite difficult, because on both of those I have a god roll in mind that I want to have. And getting this will just take some time. Will take a lot of hammers and a lot of luck as well. And then we can talk about Natalia, because we still have DGN. She is an S tier. She could get new perks, but I'm not entirely sure what I want on her. And what the perks would be that I want on there. They are dealing quite some damage. Like, they are taking decent chunks out of our LFA, which, well, he does not have damage reduction. As an imprint is actually full damage, so if we wanted to, we could make him a lot more tanky, but I figured it's not really needed. With over 4 billion HP, he can take a few hits. But we could make him way more tanky. He has like 38% damage reduction at the moment, which is like basically nothing. So Natalia DGN, as I said, I'm not quite sure what I want to go for. Maybe something more defensive, but I also want some kind of CC immunity on her. But I'm not quite sure about that yet. Okay, we didn't die there, which is quite lucky. And then, well, we will get another S tier as well. So that's not the end of it even. I mean, the next S tier that we are going to get is probably going to be from Gala. And will likely be DTV or LFA unless anything changes or like new hero is absolutely insane. I think we're looking realistically. Oh, wait, we're going to die? Because that's looking kind of bad. Yeah, not good. Not good. Okay, we're still alive. Because an enemy died. Ooh. Just surviving on the brink of death here. Also quite interesting that PDE just casually heals more than our Ferukin Vesa, which is something that I noticed before. Ferukin Vesa are really not that great anymore. Like, also in terms of heal. Okay, we have this stage now. Back row is going to get a little bit CC'd by this LFA. Not too great. Front row going to get hit by the STE, so I would likely not want to be in the back row. Also, don't want to be in slot 2. So that's the thing. We're taking off the attack buff, and then we are going to do this. Yep, and this should make sure that we are unlikely to be CC'd. Well, then again, this Garuda is probably going to die, so that is going to CC us as well. Ooh, the Mockman! And there we are CC'd. As long as we survive and get one... Don't get CC... Well, we got CC'd. Okay. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. I think we are going to go for a bit of DR on this one. Just to make sure that we survive. We got crit here still equipped, which we probably don't need. Just there for Valkyrie stage that I wanted to clear. And wanted to make sure that I have enough crit there, even if I don't get hit very often. So like this, it should be a bit easier for us to survive. Yeah, you can see it easily there. The thing is, we also kind of need energy. So that's the thing. And we also need to be not double CC'd. That would be kind of nice. So that's not going to work, isn't it? I think we're going to need a bit of a tankier PDE because that girl was dying. Okay, she will still die. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, like, it's not that we're deep in a peril here. We are using a pretty small amount of our power here. Could just switch that around, actually. Let's just go for an energy artifact. That's probably going to be enough, I guess. Though that is a bold solution for that. It's not like the best way to clear it. It's just we lacked energy on the first rounds to do an active skill, so now we just fix that like that. And yeah, that's going to take care of half of those enemies. If we were in CC, that would be a whole lot easier. Still didn't work. Okay, that's rather annoying now. I think we're going to use some more power. That's some more power. As I said, those boss stages, they can be a lot more difficult. We're facing Transcendence heroes there. We're facing high divine powers there. So yeah, it's definitely not the easiest thing, though I think that was pretty decent hit. But they still killed our MFF, despite her being divine power 5. Getting closer now. The divine power actually goes up, I think, every second stage or something like that. So yeah, that's quite insane. Got like MFGs here, a bunch of assassins that are probably going to hit our lowest life heroes. So it's not really, I don't think it's going to be that insane. Of course they are going to get killed. But I mean, like, we are going to wipe them on turn 1, so yeah. Not too difficult. But still insane that the MFF actually surpassed our AtD in terms of burst. It is quite normal. AtD needs a bit of time. He needs to be hit a few times, and then he can do some insane stuff. Oh, that's a stage where I really like to use TBB. That's a stage where I really like to use TBB. Let's use the TBB hack for this one. Where is my TBB? There she is. Okay. We're going to go like this. And what's essentially going to happen is TBB is going to get hit. Entire enemy team would have been CC'd if it wasn't for us not having perfect CC RNG and not activating her core. But that's okay, I think. And there we go. What TBB does is basically when you give her an energy artifact and she gets hit, that will trigger her passive 2, which will in turn trigger her active skill and then CC all enemies. Double PDE. That would be interesting for PvP if you imagine that. Like double PDE removing all CC, making you perfectly CC immune. Could be kind of interesting. Could be kind of interesting. Didn't help too much, I fear. Not single PDE. But interesting, our TBBs twined. So the enemies finally took revenge on us for using this she strategy. It's alright. Can live with that. And here again we have to use one less hero. Can we do that with full up heroes? That is the question. If our AtD is enough here, because I fear it might just not be. With a bunch of assassins there, we have Annabelles, and Annabelles, they can be a pain. Astral getting the double kill there surely doesn't help us. I don't think we can go in there with full heroes. I think we're just going to take out this one hero. I'm probably just going to go for MFF on this one though. We might just need a few tankier heroes because we're still pretty much in that burst scenario. Has just not going to help us here. Okay. Farrikim Vessa here with the cleanup, making it possible for us to not have to kill those LDAs again. And with that, we actually got a decent amount of loot here. Could have been a bit more. The amount of CI meds is going up every single time now at 202k, which is quite decent. And check out the leaderboard as well. Jesus with the first clear. Still going for place 1 on this leaderboard every single week. Then we got Node 4, Darth Maul, Lord Scorpion, Kali, Quake, Taxaka. I know this guy. Good guy. Fairy Woody, Symbiote, JC, and then a lot of other people, but it's like, now you know the clan text. You like Utopia, it's Core, it's OP, it's, oh, you guys are called Primordial, right? It's now Primordial or something like that. It was Global before, and then they merged, and it's like, I lose track on merges, to be honest. Like a lot of people that I definitely know. So, yeah, that was like an interesting change, actually. Like on the earlier levels when we were around 15, 16, 17, there were a lot of people that I've never seen before on leaderboards. And now it goes back to this like big clans, people that you know from IDA stuff. Basically, the higher spenders, the players that play the game for a long time, now they are up again. And yeah, that's quite interesting. Or Brownie here, Brownie Games, other YouTuber, quite cool. So, with that being said, I wish you guys a great day. Make sure you like this video. Apparently there was some statistic going around of likes from YouTubers, and I thought that was quite interesting. But I'm quite sure if we want to, we can be on top of that statistic. So this time around, please make sure to like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you aren't yet, and have a great day.